Hello everyone and welcome to another I Pick My Butt video. We're playing Rebel Inc. today and we're going to be going through the new governor, the tank commander. We'll be giving you steps on how to beat him. This is going to be on normal for Saffron Fields and we're going to be using this without advisors. We'll be going through a number of things that are going to kind of help you out because this tank commander can be very difficult. So first things first, we're going to go in government, do district representatives, and we'll open up some civilian tabs. And one of the big things you're going to find out about this tank commander is he's going to start out the soldiers with tanks regardless of practicality. That's going to mean your first coalition and your first two nationals will be tanks. You can't switch them back. And that's going to make it very difficult because these tanks can't go into the mountains. Now, we did spend money on outreach office to open up the tiers, but we really want to get into regional census here. This is something that's going to really get the intel on the zones. And you'll watch, by the time that the insurgents pop out, we're going to pretty much have everything, at least in a shaded green, which means we didn't get the stability on it yet, but we will have better chances of finding those rebel bases. And if you got a troop that needs to get backed up, putting your troop in one of those green areas will allow them to support the other troop. You know, the little line that goes from one troop to the other. Keep in mind, though, with these tanks, the tanks cannot back up other troops. They cannot. So keep that in mind. That's kind of a huge one, and that really makes a big difference in this game. Although the tanks are powerful, you'll have this kind of feeling of being stuck with them because they can't go in the mountains, and that's where the insurgents usually pop out. Your first money that you spend in the military tab has to be that coalition tank. And after you spend that, you think to yourself, well, I want to get my national ones going, so you have to spend money on the national tank. So there's a lot of money that can be spent just on these tanks, and if the insurgents are in the mountains, what do you do? So what I find works best is get that first coalition tank, immediately spend the money on the coalition troop after that, and then we can go back and start getting that national tank afterwards. Yeah, it's going to be annoying to have it, but what we can do is one of two things. We can either try to push the insurgents out of the mountains, or we can use the tanks themselves to actually build a line and kind of hold a wall on it. But you see there, the insurgents are just about to pop out now, and look at all that green area. That's what that regional census really does for us, and that's huge for the tank commander. And we almost had enough to actually stabilize Delta Yankee, so that's pretty cool. But $28 going in, we just got a tank, we got our troop, and like I said, we can either create a wall here, or we could try to push these troops out of the mountains. It's really a matter of just kind of playing it and see what it does with it. But a couple new tabs here with the tank commander: increase speed of military units but decrease support levels. And the two beneath those are going to allow you to make your troops into tanks. I don't know why anybody would want to do that at this point. Maybe they're going to change it later on. Once you get those, you'll see kind of a tank over on the left-hand side. You have to physically drag that tank over on top of the troop. And you can see here, this one I like: people convicted of serious corruption offenses may be executed by being run over by the tanks. And that decreases your support level also. But that's kind of funny, you know, a little humor in the game. Now you saw for a split second that troop had the eye on there. That's because we didn't actually gather all the intel on it. So we did put the tank behind there. He is in a green zone, but see, there is no supporting that actual troop. So we're going to get another coalition army going right now. And we'll put that to the left of it there. And you'll see when that guy gets on there, we're going to have that line to actually show, hey, we're supporting. And you can just see that tank just sitting there doing nothing. If that wasn't our coalition troop, we would be crushing that top right corner right now. But that tank's just going to sit there. Yeah, if they try to get in there, they will get destroyed. They do kick a lot of butt. We'll get our national finally going because we really want to get those national troops out so we're not spending all the money to keep reinvesting time on keeping the coalition down. But this is definitely a lot different than the strategy we've been using to play the other governors. So really, we're just trying to keep these guys under control. Let's get them out of here, and depending on how things go, look at this. They're trying to get in and just turn right back around insurgents. You're not getting into that tank at all. Another thing we want to do is garrisons. They're going to be nice to just kind of have sprinkled around the map. It's kind of like having troops just sitting there to help support the R1s. And you can see here, we kind of have a nice wall right down the middle that we can kind of try to throw these guys down to the right corner there. And hopefully if we get them past that bridge, we can trap them with having a troop on the left side and the right and hopefully just snuff them out. So that's a big thing about getting rid of these insurgents. We got to either kind of box them in a corner, make it where they have nowhere to run to, or kind of just find that area in the map where they're just completely surrounded and have nowhere to go. But you see here, we moved the tank, and what's the first thing they did? They just moved right over in that area. So let's move the tank back. They do seem to move a little bit slower than the actual troops themselves, which can be frustrating. Although we are going to spend money on another coalition here, and our national is going to pop in a second too. So we should be able to throw that tank down next to our other tank, and we have a chance to actually box him out up in the top here, or at least push him down like we were thinking about before. This is really the matter of the game. We're just trying to push him around, try to keep those areas down, and if we can keep on the mountains, which this board luckily doesn't have a lot of them, we have a good chance to win this game. Like I said, this is very difficult with these tanks. It did take me a little bit to get used to it. I'll be coming out with some brutal videos soon enough. But just to recap, tanks cannot go in the mountains. We got to box them out. Regional census is huge. You are going to have to spend the money for 2 tanks for national and 1 coalition before you can get the other troops. And you can see just on normal how much they're taking out on this already. So try these tactics. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If this was helpful to you, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. We're growing. The more likes, the more thumbs up, the more subscriptions, the better quality videos, the more Rebel Inc. videos. So if that's what you want to see, just give it a tap right down there. But really, I appreciate everybody watching. As always, can't thank you guys enough. And I'm actually liking this update. I'm not crazy about the tanks, but it is pretty cool. I'm happy for a new map and a new governor. If you didn't see it already, check out my video from the other day, Black Caves, that shows a completion on that on normal. But I think it's time to start rolling out on some brutals. If I can beat them there, stay tuned. But thanks everybody, and remember, I pick my butt.